Corruption has long been a facilitator of foreign exploitation, allowing foreign entities to dominate Africa's natural resources and to manipulate economic sectors for their own profit. Corrupt officials at various levels of government often engage in illicit agreements that prioritize personal gain over national interests. This system leaves the majority of African people suffering while the wealth generated from their resources is funneled into the hands of a select few. Welcome back to One Africa Show, where we continue to explore the issues that shape the future of Africa. I'm your host, Patrick Newman, and today we're diving deep into a critical topic in our ongoing series, A Seat at the Table, Africa's Struggle for Representation. This series is all about ensuring Africa's voice is heard on the global stage and empowering African nations to reclaim control over their own destinies. We want to take a moment to express our heartfelt gratitude to each and every one of you for the overwhelming support and constructive feedback we've received following the launch of our podcast, A Seat at the Table, Africa's Struggle for Representation. Your voices are being heard, and we're listening. In response, we're excited to announce that in the coming days, we'll be bringing on analysts and experts from leading African and international institutions to dive even deeper into these vital conversations. This is more than a podcast. It's a movement for visibility, equity, and real change. Stay tuned, stay engaged, and as always, subscribe, share, and be part of the dialogue. Today's chapter is about a major barrier to Africa's progress. Chapter 8, The Role of Corruption in Africa's Marginalization. We'll explore how corruption continues to facilitate foreign exploitation of Africa's vast resources, and how this, in turn, hinders the continent's ability to realize its full potential. Corruption remains one of the most significant barriers to Africa's development, and continues to play a crucial role in its marginalization on the global stage. Weak governance structures, lack of accountability, and entrenched political patronage have allowed foreign corporations and governments to extract immense wealth from Africa with minimal benefit to the local population. Corruption has long been a facilitator of foreign exploitation, allowing foreign entities to dominate Africa's natural resources and to manipulate economic sectors for their own profit. Corrupt officials at various levels of government often engage in illicit agreements that prioritize personal gain over national interests. This system leaves the majority of African people suffering while the wealth generated from their resources is funneled into the hands of a select few. Let's take a deeper look into how corruption enables the continued exploitation of Africa's resources by foreign corporations. Foreign corporations have long capitalized on corrupt practices to secure lucrative contracts, evade taxes, and extract resources at artificially low prices. Whether it's through bribery or nepotism, multinational companies often influence government officials to ensure that laws and regulations favor their interests instead of the needs of the African people. These companies thrive in an environment where corruption flourishes, and the laws meant to protect African workers, communities, and resources are often disregarded. In the extractive industries, foreign firms, especially in oil, mining, and agriculture, control critical sectors. These companies, such as Shell, Total, and Anglo American, generate billions in revenue, but contribute little to local economies. The resources they extract, such as oil and minerals, leave a devastating environmental footprint and bring minimal benefits to the people living in these resource-rich areas. In many cases, these companies operate with little regard for environmental protections or labor rights, knowing that the corrupt political elite will turn a blind eye. But what's the connection between corruption and weak institutions? The reality is that corruption thrives where institutions are weak. Many African nations struggle with institutional inefficiencies that make it difficult to enforce laws and maintain ethical governance. In such environments, corruption becomes entrenched in all aspects of governance, making it incredibly difficult to fight. In many countries, there is a lack of independent oversight bodies, compromised judicial systems, and a general absence of transparency in government operations. These structural flaws create a perfect breeding ground for corrupt practices, where public resources meant for healthcare, education, and infrastructure are siphoned off for personal gain. The impact is devastating. Public service delivery is poor, and much-needed development projects get delayed or derailed. This misallocation of resources leaves African citizens without basic services like clean water, proper health care, and education, which perpetuates the cycle of poverty and underdevelopment. When public resources are diverted into private pockets, the already marginalized communities suffer the most. This also stifles entrepreneurship and private sector growth, as it's difficult to attract both domestic and foreign investment when investors are wary of a system entrenched in bribery, inefficiency, and legal uncertainty. Let's take a closer look at some case studies to better understand the real-world consequences of corruption in Africa's critical sectors. 1. The oil industry, Nigeria's resource curse. Nigeria is Africa's largest oil producer, but it has been plagued by corruption in the oil sector for decades. Despite generating billions of dollars in oil revenues, much of Nigeria's wealth has been siphoned off through fraudulent contracts, embezzlement, and mismanagement. One infamous example of this corruption is the 2011 Malabu oil and gas scandal, where government officials facilitated the illegal transfer of an oil block worth over $1.3 billion to private individuals. Instead of using this revenue to improve national infrastructure or provide public services, the money was funneled into offshore accounts, leaving ordinary Nigerians in poverty. In addition to these financial misappropriations, corruption in the oil sector has caused environmental devastation in the Niger Delta. Local communities suffer from pollution and contamination, but they receive no compensation or help from the government or foreign oil companies. This situation has led to regional unrest, further deepening the challenges that Nigeria faces in achieving peace and development. 2. The mining sector, Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC. The Democratic Republic of Congo is one of the richest countries in the world in terms of natural resources, boasting vast reserves of cobalt, copper, and diamonds. But once again, corruption has prevented these resources from benefiting the Congolese people. A report from the Africa Progress Panel in 2013 revealed that the DRC lost an estimated $1.36 billion due to the underpricing of mining assets sold to offshore companies linked to corrupt government officials. Foreign mining corporations often collude with these officials to acquire mining rights at pennies on the dollar, depriving the DRC of much-needed revenue for development. Moreover, illegal mining operations, which thrive due to bribery and weak regulation, have led to exploitative labor conditions, including child labor and violence over resource control. 3. Infrastructure corruption. Kenya's Standard Gauge Railway (SGR) project was meant to improve transportation efficiency and boost the economy. However, it became a symbol of corruption and financial mismanagement. Funded primarily through Chinese loans, the project was marred by inflated costs, irregular procurement processes, and kickbacks to government officials. Investigations revealed that contracts were awarded to politically connected firms without proper bidding processes, leading to significant cost overruns and an unsustainable debt burden. Now, Kenya faces an enormous debt burden, with a large portion of its national budget allocated to debt repayment rather than economic growth. This example shows how corruption in infrastructure projects not only enriches a few elites, but also plunges countries into financial instability, limiting their ability to invest in essential sectors like education, healthcare, and job creation. So what can be done to address this rampant corruption? While it's clear that corruption remains a significant challenge, there are practical solutions that African nations can adopt to reclaim their resources and economic independence. Here are a few key strategies. 1. Strengthening transparency and accountability mechanisms. Governments must implement stronger transparency measures to ensure that public resources are managed responsibly. This includes public disclosure of contracts. Making government contracts available to the public can help prevent secret deals that favor corrupt officials and foreign corporations. Independent auditing bodies, empowering anti-corruption commissions to investigate and prosecute corrupt practices without political interference. Open data initiatives, using digital platforms to track government expenditures and revenue collection, can increase accountability and reduce mismanagement. 2. Reforming governance structures. To reduce corruption, African countries must focus on institutional reforms. Judicial independence. Strengthening the judiciary ensures that those involved in corruption face legal consequences, regardless of their political status. Decentralization of power. Reducing excessive power at the central level can minimize corruption opportunities and allow for better local governance. Strict anti-corruption laws. Enforcing comprehensive anti-corruption laws with severe penalties for offenders can serve as a deterrent. 3. Promoting citizen engagement and media freedom. Active citizen participation and media freedom are crucial in holding governments accountable. Empowering civil society organizations, CSOs. CSOs play a vital role in monitoring government activities and advocating for policy changes. Encouraging whistleblowing. Protecting whistleblowers who expose corruption can help dismantle entrenched networks of fraud. Media independence. Ensuring journalists can report on corruption without fear of intimidation or censorship is essential for transparency. 4. Reducing dependence on foreign aid. African nations should work towards reducing their reliance on foreign aid by promoting economic diversification. Developing strong domestic industries can reduce dependency on aid and foreign investment. Encouraging regional trade. Strengthening intra-African trade can create more economic opportunities within the continent. Enhancing local content policies. Requiring foreign companies to invest in local communities ensures Africa benefits more from its resources. In conclusion, corruption has long been a tool of Africa's economic marginalization, enabling foreign entities to exploit the continent's resources while leaving millions of Africans in poverty. However, through transparency, governance reforms, citizen engagement, and reducing foreign aid dependency, Africa can break free from the cycle of corruption. With a collective effort from governments, civil society, and ordinary citizens, we can ensure that Africa's wealth is used for the benefit of its people, not siphoned off by elites and foreign interests. Thank you for joining me today on One Africa Show. Remember to subscribe, like, and share. Also, don't forget to stay tuned for the release of our upcoming book, A Seat at the Table, Africa's Struggle for Representation. which builds upon everything we're covering in this series. You won't want to miss it.